Now to a special interview with a defiant law enforcement official vowing she won't prosecute abortion cases. With federal protections gone, a patchwork of laws are settling in, essentially wiping out access across much of the South. Georgia's restrictive new law is expected to take effect in the coming weeks. It bans abortions once a fetal heartbeat is detected, generally around 6 weeks, before many women even know they're pregnant. It's been held up in the court since Republican Governor Brian Kemp signed it in 2019. The fall of Roe now likely giving it the green light, and that's setting up a big fight. Because in this battleground state, several district attorneys said they're taking a stand and they won't enforce the law. That includes the district attorney in DeKalb County, who says she won't go after women or doctors. A prosecutor joins me now, DeKalb County, Georgia DA Sherry Boston. Thanks so much for being here. Sherry, I'll start with this. I always think that the numbers about this are important. Fulton County is ranked number one. I think there's 139, 156 something counties in the state of Georgia. Fulton County is number one for abortions. Where does DeKalb County rank in the state for the number of abortions every year? Is it top three, top five?
Well, considering that we're the third populous county in Georgia, I would say we're definitely in the top three for the number of abortions happening in the state of Georgia.
And overall, and I need the audience to understand this, the state of Georgia has seen a slight uptick in abortions over the last several years, even throughout the pandemic. You have at least reported about 31,000 procedures. And so I want people to understand, if you were responsible, being the prosecutor for DeKalb County, which is the third most popular county in the state, if you were responsible for prosecuting 3,000 or 4,000 people a year, doctors and friends and family members and women who sought this medical procedure, how much time would that take up from your office's ability to, I don't know, prosecute actual criminals?
A tremendous amount. I can tell you that right now we're a felony-only office, so we handle roughly 5,000 to 6,000 felony cases a year. So you do the math. That's about 50%. That would be a 50% increase in our office's caseload of non-violent offenses. And I know that my community is most concerned with gun violence, gang violence, murder, armed robbery, rape, all of those offenses where people are at significant risk to their safety.
So the Attorney General of Georgia right now has said, hey, he's upset. He thinks that this is sort of a dereliction of duty. Everybody should be responsible for this. What kinds of phone calls are you getting from the current Republican Attorney General from Georgia? Are you getting phone calls from Brian Kemp's office? What kind of pressure are you receiving after releasing the statement that you're not going to pursue any prosecutions once this law takes effect?
Well, I have not heard from our governor or our attorney general directly. I have seen some of the statements that our attorney general has made to the media, but he has not called me personally to address those concerns. But the calls that I have received from my constituents, from people that live in DeKalb and that work in DeKalb, are really thankful and grateful to have a district attorney that's willing to look at the law, look at public safety, and more importantly, consider how these actions can be extremely detrimental to our community.
So I have to go back to the show. This is really important. So you're telling me that you said, hey, look, I'm not pursuing this stuff because I think these things are ridiculous. I think people should still have a right to access to abortion as health care. And the governor and the attorney general are talking all this smack to the media, but they haven't been about that. Like, they haven't actually called you about this. What do you think that says about their actual commitment to this? Is it about the law, or is it just politics for them?
I can't tell you. I would never deign to speculate what is in the minds of our governor or our attorney general. The only thing I can say is I've made my position very clear, dating back to 2019, that this is not a political issue. This is a constitutional issue. And although the Supreme Court has ruled in Dobbs on the federal Constitution, there are still a lot of questions locally through the Georgia Constitution about whether this law is legally enforceable and legally constitutional under the Georgia Constitution. And as a district attorney, I have some grave concerns, and I look forward to the 11th Circuit and Judge Jones in the Northern District to examining these very issues that we've been challenging since 2019.
I'm glad to see that this is something that you're taking not just seriously, but also legally, because quite frankly, it seems very obvious that the behavior on the part of the leaders that have passed these laws in the state are not in alignment with what the voters actually want, and you actually are. Thank you so very much. DeKalb County District Attorney Sherry Boston, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you for fighting the good fight. We'll be right back.